welcome to Find You Fridays. It's me, Lorene. Yous. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Let us get to and do all of this lovely background stuff that we get to do. So let me just jump over here. And then we can grab our chat. Watch the live video. Okay, let's do that because that sounds like fun. Oh gosh. All right. No, it doesn't want to bring it out. Show me, show me, show me, show me. My friends. Nope. Doesn't want to show me. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. Whee, there we go. Hi, Edwina. How are you? So lovely to have you with us. Hi, Juanita. Aww. That's so cool about the music. Thank you. Thank you, Matilda. That is lovely to hear. And hi, Debbie. Hi. All right. I've gotten a bit sucked into the so fun fact about me. I actually quite like ancestry. I like diving into ancestry and finding out the little bits and pieces and the funny little stories that come out of ancestries. And I have investigated my own ancestry back about 6 generations before me. So from my parents being the first and then going back another 5 after them. I did it for 3 of my previous partners as well. I've decided that I'm not going to do any more ancestry of partners because every time I do, we break up. So that's it for me doing ancestral research. But it might just be a funny coincidence. But gosh, some of the stuff that you find out is so funny and so interesting. And today I just sort of stumbled across, one of those "Who Do You Think You Are" shows, and I was and I watched a couple today, and in between all the other bits and pieces that I had to do today, and one of them I actually watched on what's his name that played Dame Edna Everage. So I watched his one today, and it's just, I find it really fascinating, really super fascinating. And don't ask me necessarily about dates and things like that. I'm like just one of those people that like to feel the feel of a thing. And I'm guessing that could be because I'm a splenic projector. Hey, Melinda. It's the vibe. It's the stomach vibe. I like to feel it from the inside out. Get the vibe of it. So it is. It's interesting to me. Like when I go visiting a new country or something like that, I don't want to do the big touristy stuff. That doesn't really particularly interest me. I wish to go and see things that show me the true culture of a place. So, for example, when I went to New York, we only did 1 day of the 10 days that was like the biggest touristy type stuff. But I got to do all sorts of other things. Like I was able to go onto the top of one of the buildings that my friend worked at and look down over the street and stuff like that. And it was, something that nobody else would have gotten to do. Got to walk the streets, and we got to do like going to some of the just the nice places that he used to go to grow up when he was growing up, and got to visit the beach and the piers, and walking around. We found a Irish potato famine memorial. We found, like, there was just loads of stuff that we did that was not necessarily big touristy stuff, and out of the way bars and things like that. It was so good. It was so good. And that's the way I like to explore countries too, and new places or cities. I'm not interested in theme parks or anything like that. So it's one of those aspects of me being a student of the people. Was a lovely lady said to me one year, she was actually a doctor, like a family physician, and she said to me one day, Lorene, this is when I was about 28. She said, and she'd been my family physician for many years, but at this point she was retired. And she said to me, you're a student of the people. And I looked at her and I said, well, that's a really lovely thing to say, but what does that mean? And she said, you just like knowing what makes people tick. You like knowing how their brain works. And so you study them. And I was like, yeah, I do. And that's so true. So there we go. I'm a student of the people. I like knowing what makes people say and do the things that they do. And in doing so, I think, to be honest, looking at that comment, and that's, not quite 20 years ago now, I can see how all of that is starting to come into a really nice place of fruition in my working more, I guess, mature life, of how I know how to work with people in a much more gentle, but firm and fair way. Whereas sometimes in my early 20s, it was very much, I was trying to prove that I was okay and I was good for this job and I should have this job. And and now it's just sort of like, hey, let's work as a team. It's pretty simple. Let's just work as a team. So we have had our first donation. Thank you so much, Melinda. I will get on to this reading. So how have you all been this week? How have the energies treated you? Were any of you up at the time to see the auroras? One of my friends happened to be up in the early hours of the morning this morning and was able to take some photos with their partner's camera, like just their phone. Simple, really easy to see with the naked eye. Unfortunately, at that time of the morning, which was around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I was very much asleep. So I didn't get to see it this time. I still haven't seen them. It would be really cool to see them. There's lots of them happening right now, but I have not, unfortunately. So I do know that Chanel posted something about all sorts of funny retrogrades. Alrighty. So let me just read out these retrogrades that are happening currently, because she said it's retrograde season. Jupiter has just joined the ranks. So currently, looking at this, we've got 5 planets in retrograde. So let's have a quick look and see what that means for us. Debbie says, I see everyone's Aurora Borealis pics and all my pics are pitch black. Oh, yeah, I don't know how to do it. Apparently it's to do with putting it on a slow exposure that you should be able to see them. Jupiter retrograde is the first one that she's got listed here from the 9th of October from 2024. So this is the one that has just joined into the retrograde ranks, and it is going to last through to the February 4th, 2025. So the Jupiter retrograde is all about aligning with the flow of the universe's abundant blessings. My first I first recognize and embrace my own worthiness to receive. So things that might be coming up around this Jupiter retrograde will be open to revising plans or ideas as new clarity emerges. Reconsider your guiding philosophies and make sure that they still resonate with you. Reflect on how you express yourself. Ensure your words align with your wisdom, and revisit intellectual pursuits and assess whether they truly support your personal growth. So these have all come through from Moon and Cactus, is the originator of these posts. So you've got the Uranus retrograde, which started on the 1st of September this year and will be going through to the 30th of January next year. And that is, I honor the shifts within me and I embrace the change as a catalyst for growth. With courage, I let go of what holds me back and step boldly into a future where my authentic self thrives in freedom and innovation. So the Uranus retrograde. Now I'm curious, did you guys grow up saying Uranus or Uranus? It was, even though it was like, we all grew up saying Uranus, and it's only in the last, I would say, at a stretch, maybe 10 years, I've been hearing it being referred to as Uranus. I'm curious, how did you grow up? What saying it, and the beautiful planet of Uranus or Uranus? And what do you say now? Have you followed the ranks of the Uranus? Anyway, so this is to do Uranus. Yeah. See, I grew up with Uranus too. So the Uranus or Uranus retrograde, stuff that might be coming up is to celebrate and express your individuality in ways that feel true to you. Be open to unexpected changes. Consciously shift towards new, more fulfilling habits that won't need drastic changes later. Seek innovative ways to improve yourself or break free from old patterns. I've been seeing a lot of that coming up, certainly. Think about how you can reclaim your autonomy. Practice grounding techniques to remain calm while Uranus shakes things up. And we have seen a lot of that coming up at our weekly readings, if we recall, over the last month or so, about really making sure that you're staying very, very grounded. Melinda and Debbie were both Uranus kids. We've had Saturn retrograde has been here for a little while. And it started on June 29th and it'll be going through till November 15th. So this particular Saturn retrograde has been going on for a little while now and it's here for another month. So what's coming up for the Saturn retrograde is what goes around comes around. Don't take the easy way out. Take responsibility for your actions. When something isn't working, pause, breathe, reassess, and meet your challenges with dignity. Yep, I've found myself doing that a lot more in the last few months. To reflect deeply on where you want to invest your time and energy. If it's not stable, let it go. I've seen that coming out too. To keep an eye out for repetitive patterns, your clues to lessons. Definitely have seen plenty of that over this Saturn retrograde, which was from the end of June and will go through to the 15th of November. The Neptune retrograde. So we've had quite a lot of retrograde energies popping up, which is not surprising at all when you feel and know about all those other things that have been come through. You can see with all of these, if all of these are having their influence, it's like we are in this space of huge conscious pressure and push to get us moving, to get us out of this 3D bullshit and move towards the 5D. And this is all part of it. This is like each each one of these is their own little set of rockets and springs to just get us going. So it's not bad to have retrogrades. We actually we really do require them. It's just that it feels uncomfortable to make these changes and to look at these things. So the Neptune retrograde, so this is our 4th retrograde planet at the moment, and that started in July 2nd and will be going through to the December 7th. Okay, so we've still got this one for another month and a half. This one, stuff that comes up with the Neptune retrograde is to pay special close attention. Transliteration. Turn on, run, turn on, run, turn on, run. Goodness gracious. Pay special attention to your dreams. Oh, definitely. I can absolutely attest to that one. Let your creativity flow. Yep, that's been happening too. Don't ignore your intuition, your dreams, or necessary changes. Don't run away from truths. Don't run away from truths. Ignorance isn't bliss. What an interesting concept. Learn new forms of divination. Interesting. Have I learned any new forms of divinations yet? Not so much that I can think of off the top of my head. Take soothing baths, make moon water, and meditate near bodies of water. Okay, cool. We've still got a bit of time to do that. We've got a full moon coming up on the 17th of this month. The next full moon will be on the 16th of November. So you've got a couple of full moons to be able to make use of your Neptune, your Neptune energies, Neptune retrograde energies. And what would that be? The mantra of the Neptune retrograde would be, I trust the inner wisdom my intuition provides me. I release any illusions that hold me back, and I align with my highest truth. Oh, that shifted something. And now we have the Chiron. Chiron retrograde, which is has been going on since the 26th of July and will be going on through till December the 29th this year. And with Chiron, it's to pursue passions that make you feel empowered and channel your inner warrior and take steps towards healing by confronting your fears. Okay, we're doing this. Reclaim your personal power and set healthy boundaries with others. Yes, I've seen that popping up in some of my other friends, so that doesn't surprise me at all. And also with myself, I've seen myself doing a bit of that too, where it's been, no, that's not acceptable. That's not okay. This is not going to happen again. Or if it does, there's going to be further consequences. So spend time considering who you truly are beyond the roles and expectations placed on you by others. And the mantra for the Chiron retrograde is, I embrace my wounds with compassion and courage, transforming them into sources of strength and wisdom. So yes, I'm certainly finding relevance in all of those retrogrades. I certainly don't see that as a bad thing. If anything, it's bloody brilliant and very much required. Basically, from what I see of the planet and how we have progressed, particularly over the last 15 or so years, we have accelerated hugely from quite a old sticky energy to something that is far more fast and free flowing. And yes, there's still bumps in the road, but everybody is moving with a lot more ease now. And things like when people are going through their crunchy moments, it's not lasting years and years like it may have once before. So when we have our upgrades now, they may last hours, days, weeks, maybe months. but it's like they might last up to about 6 to 8 weeks instead of it being 2 to 3 years, which is how slow things were in the past, and now they're not like that now. And it's a beautiful thing and very much required. So I give you all a big round of applause for all the hard work that you guys have been doing, and for, you know, holding in there, maybe white knuckling it a little bit through these retrogrades. But I think that we are doing so much better as a collective now than what we did even a year ago, or, you know, when we had those moments from early 2020, I'll put it that way. I got the sense even then that we were, as a society, as a community, we really had to have something big happen in our, like, worldwide. It couldn't just be isolated countries or something like that. So say the times of like the Great Depression and things like that, that may have only affected a couple of countries. What happened in the early 2020s was, 2020s was, it was worldwide, and it was necessary, because without that, we wouldn't have this big, huge advance in collective consciousness that we have had. We wouldn't have been pushed forward into the space of reaching out for community like we did, because it's so easy just to keep with the status quo. And in that moment, the status quo was no longer good enough, because we couldn't do the status quo. We literally, most of us, I was not one of the ones that had to stay home. I actually was one of the frontline people. I had to get out there and do my work, until I was told I couldn't do my work anymore. And I still didn't stay home. I went out and did other work instead. But you know, it was a very interesting time, and I'm grateful that I was living here in South Australia, because we didn't have nearly the same amount of restrictions that other states did. But in saying that, it has still been, I see so many benefits, and I feel so grateful for that time, for a lot of the advances in technology and community, and how we interact with each other. It's just been, and so many more new friendships have been created, new group teams have been created, and it's just in businesses. Like, sure, there was a lot of businesses that failed during that time. They had to close the doors and not open again, and that was really super sad. But we also had a lot of new ones that popped up, and that's the beauty of a big old reset like that. So that is really what I see this retrograde time is. It's like a much, much gentler way of doing that for us all as a collective. It's just that the early 2020 stuff was so big and so loud, like even the normies could hear it. So well done to all of you who are not normies that are watching this and listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. Back to the Aurora Borealis. No, Melinda, no, I wasn't up at that time either. Fast asleep for me. I'd love to see it though. I might get a glimpse as I am at my son's house, dog and chook sitting for the weekend. Yay! There's a beautiful view from his place over Onkaparinga, where the train bridge is. Ooh. Yes, the muggles. Yes. Gotta love the muggles. I just like, where? Stay home. Actually, no, they weren't really where, stay home. It was like, woohoo, stay home. I was like, woohoo, you guys can stay home. Then I've got loads of free time to get to the traffic was just so nice. So nice for that 12 months or so. It was like, oh, this is bliss. And then everybody started going back to work. I'm like, Oh dear. So yes, the muggles. Do you know, talk about the muggles, I almost last weekend started watching, while I was doing my craft, started watching the Harry Potter series again. Yes, Amanda. Oh my God. I can't believe you got such beautiful images. Like, I can believe it because I saw them. But yeah, wow, it was so beautiful. If my phone wasn't on Do Not Disturb overnight, I would have said you could have messaged me to tell me to look out the window. You have to send it to me telepathically next time. Melinda said the road was quiet and so was the shopping centres, and the petrol was at a fantastic price. It was, wasn't it? It was so good. It was such a lovely time for a lot of people, for me. And, you know, the shopping centres, I really, and especially once I got my mask exemption, I was just breezing on through. I didn't care. It was so nice. So, so nice. All right. So let me have a look at this weekly reading. Let's see who wants to come and play for the weekly reading. I think this one today. Let's see. Cheaper since the 1990s. Can you even? How is it even possible that it was cheaper? That's crazy, isn't it? But it was good. I liked it in a lot of ways. I just didn't like the way in some. So if we reflect on, just for a moment, some of the stuff that was coming out and then all these retrograde conversations, like with the retrograde things that are coming up, and we look at what I was just about to say is one of the things I didn't like was how some employers treated their employees. And I found that to be very loud, very confronting. Trying to put this delicately. I know most unlike me. I'm trying to practice. But when we look at some of that retrograde elements that we were just talking about, the beauty of that is it then allowed the employees to see with absolute clarity what doesn't work for them. Things that perhaps they kind of just pushed to the side or didn't let themselves be heard, or just kind of went along with poor behavior from employers. And then at that point, they saw with absolute clarity what was the truth of it and went, why am I even staying here? Why am I listening to these people? And it woke a lot of people up. And so while I don't agree with the harsh treatment of so many people, it was a beautiful awakening for those people too. And sometimes, like I say, with a renovation, it gets really dirty and really mucky and super dusty, and there's lots of coughing and tears and blood before the good stuff happens. And I truly, truly believe in my heart that the good stuff is starting to come in now. And the easing off, you know, like when you're in a renovation, we're not there yet. Don't get me wrong, we've still got a long way to go. But it's like you're starting to see a single room coming together. And it's like, oh, that's what this is going to look like. Oh, that's so nice. You know, but you've still got 2/3 of the rest of the house to go, and you've still got all the landscaping to go, and you've got all of that. The outside of the house to renovate yet. But it's like, yeah, we're getting there. Things are coming along, and it feels good. It feels good. That's my take on society right now. And then I watch programs like, you know, Dashcam Australia, and I go, That's often my face for a lot of it. It's like, oh my God. So just shuffling up the cards for our reading for the collective for the 12th of October through to the 18th of October. Oh, awesome. Oh dear. Just shifting some energy, yawning. My goodness. I think I've been shifting energy all afternoon, actually. It's coming up. I went to lunch at the Shanghai Tea House today with a friend of mine, and the food was great. Loved it. Had a beautiful tea. It was lily with wolfberry, and it was just so lovely, and it was just perfect for the both of us. So lucky I got a big pot. But it was just perfect. And so I'd looked up what wolf, because I was like, why is my body asking for the wolfberry? And so I had a look at that and looked at the properties, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. You know, it's good for the immune system, and it's good for circulation, and it's good for a few other things as well, which I can't remember. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's perfect for us both. All right, so let's have a look at these cards. So this is, of course, for the collective for the 12th of October through to the 18th of October. All right. So the first card that's coming up is compassion. So what I'm seeing with this one is that when the compassion card generally comes out, hi Catherine, when the compassion card comes out, it generally means to me, like, and then certainly in this case, that there's going to be some conflicts that are going to pop up. And when conflicts come up, it's that moment of stepping back before it blows into something really, really huge, and just go, righty-ho. Because, of course, we've got a full moon that's happening on Thursday as well. So this is energies leading up to the full moon. We've got all that retrograde energy. We've got aurora borealis happening, which means you've got solar flares and things that have happened. That's part of why we're getting the auroras. And so if conflicts are coming up in your world, it's really a time of stepping back and just taking a breath and going, okay, what am I not seeing here? And having a look at it from the other person's point of view, and sort of seeing if you can kind of be a little bit softer and gentler with yourself and with other people in the world. The next card we've got is peace, and it says peace comes from remembering that only love is real. So again, we're being asked to be compassionate, to bring that unconditional love through our bodies. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, this particular reading, I'm like, oh my God, okay. It feels like there's going to be some little crinkles in people's worlds this week, and some differences of opinions perhaps, and it's just that building of energy, isn't it? It's like, instead of just one woman having PMS, it's like the whole bloody planet's going into PMS right now. So sorry about that. Not sorry. Because a lot of energy is shifting around, which I can see that there's a lot more of the sadness and the anger and all of those little bits, the disappointment, which I think those sort of more negative emotions, even disappointment and resentment and all those sorts of emotions coming through, if you dig down underneath that, and you can come down to the core emotion of, or that raw emotion of Is it anger? Is it sadness? Because if it's anger, there's potency there of energy that wishes to move forward, wishes to change something. That's anger. And quite often when resentment pops up, or like passive aggressiveness and stuff like that, quite often underneath that is anger. And that really is a good sign that there's something there that's asking to change. And perhaps it's the fact that you don't feel like you've been listened to, or maybe you don't feel like you can say what you really wish to say in your heart, and that's creating anger for you with yourself, because you're not giving yourself permission to actually use your voice. So just be a little bit more reflective this week, because the next card that's come up is relationship harmony. So I've had compassion, peace, and relationship harmony. So it says, we angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved right now. So again, come back to that space of compassion, peace, unconditional love, and just breathe. I've been listening to a series of books, and it came out in the first book of the series of, and I think this is relevant for this part of the reading, and it was, to paraphrase, you are not your last choice. You are also not the sum total of all of your previous choices. You are who you are in the moment, and your choices for the future. So, for example, what they're meaning there is like, there's the character in the story has chosen a certain pathway, which was deemed, the good, proper type pathway. And they chose that pathway many, 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 many thousands of times. And then they made a couple of choices that were deemed the darker pathway. And so the character felt like he could never, ever be deemed as being the previous version of himself ever again. And that his peers that were still practicing this side would think that he could never be that either. And the wiser colleague who was over here, the sort of the leader, I suppose, was saying, look, you've chosen to be this thousands of times, whereas you've only chosen to be this a smidgen of the time. That doesn't change all of that. It's okay. It's based on what you're going to choose now. Like, you've already chosen all those things previous to the right now. What are you going to choose right now? So it's just really comforting in some ways. And that's why when we go up to the Theta Healing Plane, I love going up there, because you're surrounded by unconditional love. And I should say, I really, really enjoy going up there, because you're completely surrounded by unconditional love, which is exactly that. It's unconditional. It doesn't give a rat's ass how you have been in the past. It doesn't care if you've been good, bad, ugly, awesome, rich, poor, perfectly pious, or an absolute scoundrel. It doesn't care. That's not a factor. It's like, it still surrounds you with unconditional love regardless. And so it's an interesting way to look at life. So with the little things that are going to come up this week coming, because everybody's feeling the pressure from the retrogrades and the auroras and the full moon coming and all of that sort of stuff, please breathe, give a little bit more compassion for yourself and for them. We have beloved ones So again, it's going to be a lot of relationship-y type stuff coming up. I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. Okay. So those ones that are nearest and dearest to you might challenge you a little bit more this week. So again, we're taking that time to be a little bit more compassionate and a little bit more breathing, and just, there's that good old saying, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Okay. Have a look at also when those things come up, what is it about this that is triggering me to look at the stuff that I haven't healed yet? Because here's the thing, here's the beauty of these relationships. If it's triggering you, it's because it's something in you that hasn't been healed yet. And if it was healed, you would approach it from a completely different angle. You'd see it from that, the wizened old crone in the corner going, righty ho, my dear. Well, how do you think you could have done that a little better? Rather than going, what the fuck did you do that for? That's a difference. Hi, Erin. Now, by the time we hit the end of the week, we've gone through our little pressure pot of energies and little crunchy moments with our friends and our loved ones and our co-workers, and we're all starting to feel a bit like we've become bald because we pulled our hair out, and we've breathed a lot because everybody's pissing us off, and we all feel like we should be going to the pub for a drink anyway. That's a pretty big ask because I don't drink. Maybe we all sit down and smoke a pipe together, but I don't smoke either. I'm a bit fucked, aren't I? Like, how can I relax? I'm just going to sit and breathe. Breathe. Fuck you, breathe. We get to spread our wings, right? So to me, when I read this one for this week coming, it's like we're going to actually have that moment to just start going, finally. I feel like things are coming together, which is interesting because it's coming into that full moon energy. And so that lovely full moon energy is going to be giving us that moment of just absolute clarity on how to actually approach something or work through an issue. So if there's stuff that's coming up at the start of the week for you, try, if you can, pin it to later in the week. Just kind of go, you know what? Let's just let this simmer for a couple of days and we'll come back to that. And I can almost guarantee you, because this card's come up, is that you're going to see some nice moments of, like, first of all, healing for yourself, especially with all that retrograde stuff happening. You might find some absolutely incredibly creative solutions and to issues that are going on within whatever relationship it is. And you may find that comes through in your dream state as well. And if you just give it a couple of days, sort of pushing it more towards sort of Wednesday, Thursday-ish, you might actually find that things will just kind of magically soften and heal on their own. So that would be my advice for this week. Unless it's something that's very time sensitive, just sort of put a pin in it. just pin that over there for now. And I'm just going to let that simmer over there. Unless it's something, like I said, it has to be dealt with right then and there, in which case, come back to that first card, look for the compassion, come to the peaceful place, breathe. Remember, your ultimate goal is to have relationship harmony. So Amanda says, I love this. Never being your past choice means that the slate is clear and every choice is a new me. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you don't always have to move to a whole nother country or another state to be able to get that. Cool. So the card that we've got as a theme for this week is about being receptive. receptive to different energies, receptive to different ideas, receptive to creativeness and compassion and joyfulness. And yeah, because quite often what happens when we start getting crunchy, we close in and we become very solid in our viewpoints, and we just get stubborn. Or is that just me? Oh dear. So yes, that is what I'm seeing for this week coming. Cool. Let's take that photo. Fabulous. Excellent. So there we go. That's the week to come. Amanda says, the best lesson I've learned this time around, every time I get emotional, I think that's why this is affecting, why is this affecting me? What's in me that's making me react this way? Fuck, it's helped so much less blame and so much more acceptance of me and how I work. Exactly. When you treat yourself as if you're the greatest science project around, and then you start looking at, not only what does make other people tick, what makes me tick? Why have I chosen that? What is it about me that's made that happen? And that's part of why I really liked the concept of Ho'oponopono, is because it's about taking responsibility for your impact on other people. Doesn't necessarily make you responsible for them. Excuse me. But it does make you take responsibility for your part in the energy of that situation. And that's a really, really lovely place to be able to function from, because then you naturally drop into that compassionate space. All right, cup of tea time. So, Melinda, who has very, very nicely popped in a donation. Thank you so much, Melinda. Can you please pop your question in the chat? That would be amazing. I love it. You already had it ready to go. That is just incredible. Do love it. And now that we're on daylight savings, so my New Zealand crew, when you guys are there now, we're all back into our normal 2.5 hour time difference. We're back to that instead of 3.5. But I don't know what happens with the American crews. I'm not sure where they're. I think they might have been pushed apart instead of come together. I think daylight savings is dumb, by the way. We don't need to be messing with our circadian rhythms any more than we already do. That would be really nice to not do that anymore. It's one of the only reasons why I would even consider moving to like Queensland, because they don't have daylight savings up there. But my hair doesn't like humidity, so I wouldn't go there for that. All right, so let me have a look, see who wishes to come and play with Melinda. Oh, cool. You've got my new to me pack of the mystical healing. Does anybody else like ancestry? I'm curious. I am quite a bit of a oldie soul in that regard. I like my crochet. I like my cross stitch. I like that sort of oldie stuff. I sometimes wish I had had like people to teach to, because I think there's a lot of soothing that happens when you are able to take something like a cross stitch or a crochet, or like a lot of people got into diamond art, which is the same kind of like meditative aspect to it, but it doesn't exercise your brain in the same way as cross stitch does, or crochet or anything, knitting or whatever. I am still considering maybe joining up. There's a group that meets up here, I think, in Mount Barker once a month. But I'm still considering seeing if that's an option that's available to me. Amanda loves daylight savings. I knew you do. I love to drive home from work and still need my sunnies on the drive home and having another hour of daylight before I need my PJs on. You get it anyway, love, because that's the natural rotation of the planet. You get more daylight as the summer happens. It's a false economy. What I don't like is now I get to wake up in the dark again. That's not fun. I quite like not waking up in the dark. Oh, Melinda. You're learning lots right now. I can feel that. And the reason why I say that is because my form and structure bars are going off. And which shows me that there's a lot of things that you're going through and you're learning with your new role that is like it's exercise in your brain big time, and you're having to that happens with every new job though, so that's cool. All right, interesting. What a fascinating reading. Amanda, not in October. I'd still be driving home in the dark at the moment and needed my PJs as soon as I walked in the door. Oh, yes, I know, Melinda, right? So the first card that you've got here is about stepping into the unknown. So as I look at that card, I'm seeing a lot of like it's that whole, she's standing there blindfolded, right? And she feels a little bit torn. That's what I look at when I see that. It's like, oh, do I go? Do I not go? Like, and at the moment, there's a lot of challenge in your life because, yes, you've started a new job. And with that, and all the information, and then there's the hours, and then there's the toll on your body right now, which is so different to how things have been for you in your previous role. But your team is saying this is a good thing. This is a really good thing for you to be stepping forward. So keep going. It will start to chill and ease, and like things are gonna be much, much easier for you. There's like bright sunny skies coming kind of thing. The next card that they've given us is practice positivity. Okay. So even if the seas look a little bit stormy or a little bit rough, that's not even stormy, that's just a little bit rough, a little bit bumpy, you know, and that will be coming because of work and, you know, all these new procedures. You know, every new staff member mucks up at some point. You can't do as bad as me. You know, when I muck up at work, it generally means I've broken something. And it's something that's going to be a little bit more expensive to replace. So just don't worry too much if you make mistakes or whatever. It's the little things. Unless you go and sell something that's supposed to be for like $1,000 and you sell it for $100, like that's a bit of a big boo-boo. But I'm pretty sure you wouldn't do anything like that anyway. So practice the positivity. So at the end of the day, instead of going, oh my God, my legs are so sore, my back is sore, think about the things that you've done well and find those moments of going, do you know what? I did such a great day's work today. I helped so many people, and I could see the smiles on people's faces when they were leaving me, and that made me feel really good. And I can feel that my body has worked hard today, and that also feels great because I know that I've done I've been a really positive influence or impact or contribution, if you prefer, to the team today. That's awesome. So even with pain and all that sort of thing, keep that positive flow in mind, the positive outlook. It'll really, really help you in those moments where you're feeling maybe a little bit more down on yourself for whatever reason. Practice positivity. Keep going. You're okay. All right. Our next card. I think I'm going to have to read the book on this one because it's a bit of a curious one, and I'm wondering why it's popped up, and I am not clicking quite straight away. It is contemplate death and beyond. To live fully, you need to understand death. Every moment of every day, there are aspects of you that are dying and transforming. There we go. Okay. This card offers an opportunity to consciously reflect on the process of death. Have you ever taken the time to truly contemplate what happens when you die? What aspects of your soul continue with you, and what aspects stay behind and dissolve? Until you ask powerful questions about life after death, it is almost impossible to know what you need to work on and thus how to live consciously. Through understanding death, we learn the secret of life. You are about to go through a major cleansing process where many of your materialistic ambitions will start to fall away, while your spiritual aspirations will become aroused. Through this process, your fears of death and the possibility to transform into awe of the higher worlds. You are also being asked to start looking at any of your destructive habits and behaviors and make positive changes to your health and inner well-being. Ignoring this message could have serious consequences in your life. If you have had a close family members or friends who have passed over, it is important to send them loving thoughts and feelings. So given what is happening with the pressure cooker of retrogrades happening right now too, there's a lot of those old points of views and belief systems that will be coming up for you to look at and let go or let them die. So those old resentments and grudges, let them die. Just let them go. Okay. That is what's coming up on that card right now. So I'm glad I read that out because I was able to gain the clarity of what was happening for you. This next card actually runs along really nicely. Now that we understand that middle card, the next card makes so much more sense, and it says to minimize guilt. So quite often when we are letting old stuff go, whether that be old relationships, whether it be just maybe you've held a grudge for ages and then you're letting that go. Maybe you've held an obligation that has sat in your world and made you feel really crap, and you're letting that go. like I used to feel like I was obligated, and it was of my own creation, but I used to feel obligated that every time I went to my mother's house, especially after I moved out, that I had to clean it up. And I felt like it was an obligation for me to do that. And it was a habit as well, a habit that we had all gotten into of, oh, Lorene's coming, she's going to clean up the house, it'll be fine. Doesn't matter if it gets into a mess because Lorene's going to fix it. While we don't need to plan anything for Christmas, Lorene will be here. She'll sort it out. Lorene doesn't know that she needs to sort out the stuff for Christmas, but that's fine. And when I let all that stuff go, I felt really guilty about it. I felt a huge amount of guilt about moving to Australia. I felt a huge amount of guilt about leaving my half-sister with her 6-week-old baby behind. I felt a huge amount of guilt for, just not doing my responsibilities, my obligations to the family in all of the different ways. And it was tough. It was a tough decision, but I also knew it was one that I had to do. And so as you're moving and shifting and changing your points of views, your belief systems, your old work habits, all that sort of stuff, the guilt that's going to come up, let it go. Let it go. And you'll find things will become so much easier. And this will ease the headaches. The next card that we've got is listen to your guardian angel. Okay, your team, as you know, your Invisi team are around you all the time. And currently they are sending you messages, but I can imagine that you're probably feeling quite tired and physically and mentally very tired. Customer service can be emotionally tiring. So I'm really pleased that you're out house sitting right now and just enjoying the space of your son's home and the puppies and, all the other animals that are floating around there. So use this time to also be checking in with your team a little bit more and be aware of their messages, because they're sending you loads and loads of those messages, your numbers and your synchronicities. And when you think of somebody and then they send you a message, it's like, acknowledge that, acknowledge those moments. And you'll find that your angels are like, or your Invisi team, or however you choose to talk about them, they're definitely shining a lot of light on your heart space right now. Nice. And getting out in nature will also really help with all of that. All right. Hey, Amanda, is there any auroras out there at the moment? I have heard sometimes they're for about 90 minutes after sunset, within that time frame. And why were you up so early in the morning? I'm curious. Your yummy card, Melinda, is sacred. So you are a sacred being. And I'm getting your mind is sacred. What else? And your team is trying to remind you that you are precious and you are loved And they're there and they're supporting you. They're loving you. They're helping you. And so they're also saying that we can help you with your new job, you know. If you're struggling to find something, ask us. We know where everything is in the shop. So start using them as well. Okay. And then they can assist you where you're sort of going, I don't want to have to ask that for the billionth time. Like, we know it all. We know all the policies and procedures. We know everything. Ask us, and we can pop that little information into your head. You're like looking after the dogs and the chooks. So there we go. Your Invisi team is there. They're reminding you of the beautiful sacred being that you truly are and what you are capable of. Okay? So keep going. Enjoy. Just lean into the fact that things are changing. It's okay. You know? And it's all good stuff. All good stuff. Alrighty. Thank you for your very kind donation, Melinda. You are one of our founding members of YG Fridays crew. I'm so grateful for you and your continued support of this channel, this podcast, and I appreciate your time, your effort, your contribution. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you. All righty. So grateful for your insightful words and my team's info tonight. Absolutely. Your team is amazing. Okay, Amanda. Yes, you guys all heard the little bling. That was Amanda. So Amanda, could you please pop your question in the chat? That would be amazing. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. I kind of wanted to know how my spirit team is contacting me and what it means. How are they contacting you? They'll be using any and all ways that they can. So let us have a look at that one and see which card deck wishes to come and play with Melinda. Yes. So many ways. They'll be sending you pictures. They'll be sending you funny links to things, and you kind of go, how the hell did that end up there? They'll be sending you moments where there's, you know, your numbers, your multiple numbers. I've been seeing a lot of 3s and 4s this last week, multiple 3s, multiple 4s. They'll put random people in your path. They'll send you maybe you'll be in the scroll hole of Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or something like that, and you'll stumble across something and you'll go, why did I need to see that today? But you watch it anyway, or you look at it, or you read it, and it'll be like, you'll still be sitting there going, I don't understand what that's about. So one of the first introductions to this concept that I ever had was, and oh, by the way, all of it will make sense in a few days' time, because it will be suddenly you'll go, oh yeah, I saw something about that. And it'll be like, oh, and it was one of those moments where the concept has been planted and then you see it coming to fruition. So this is one of the ways that your team will be talking to you. So it's a really fascinating way of looking at all of that. It's just like, how many different ways can they come through? Like I had no idea why the ancestry stuff is coming up for me today. But in some ways I do know, because one of it's been coming up a couple of different ways actually. One of them was there was a little reel that I saw, and it was around so if you're a mum and you have birthed a daughter, every female child is born with all the eggs that she is ever going to have. So in essence, because you have carried your daughter, you have actually carried all of your grandchildren as well. How interesting is that? Whereas for the fathers, it's not the same, right? Because they reproduce their sperms all the time. They create new ones all the time. They're not just born with the one pool and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that for them. So that's really, I found that one to be just like really mind-blowing of, wow. In essence, my grandmother carried me. Whoa. But that whole thing stops with me because, you know, obviously I haven't had kids. Hi, Christine. So you said, yes, I'm getting the signs. It's the meaning I'm getting a little confused about. All right, so let's have a look and see. Hey, team, what exactly are you trying to tell me? Amanda, we've got jumpers today. So what is it exactly that you're trying to communicate with Amanda at the moment? I do love all the signs that pop through. So I had a really strong dream. I say strong. I found it quite horrific. Nothing bad happened to me, but it was all about my car and stuff. And I found it to be really confronting because there was a lot of concepts in it that made it that it was like it had stuck in my mind, and it was still there when I woke up, like this dream. And so I was like, right. And so I sent a voice message to my friend telling her about my dream and my really half sleepy state so that I could retain it, because sometimes I find saying it out loud when I vaguely wake up helps me to retain it. I find it hard to sit and write a dream down because then I have to really open my eyes, whereas I can sort of vaguely hold on to the edges of the dream and do a voice message and not have to open my eyes too much. And from there, I was able to then do a little bit of digging and research into what it was all about. And there was just a lot of stuff coming up around my own fears of my upcoming trip and what that means for me. And because the last trip over to New Zealand was not very smooth. And so there's a little bit of apprehension and stuff. I'm sure this trip will be absolutely fine, but it was just all these background things that I've sort of managed to push away because I'm not going back to New Zealand for ages. So I'm not worrying about it, you know. And now it's like, yeah, no, you are. And it's now. And now you're going to deal with the shit that you've been storing away back there. So, So let us have a look and see what your team is trying to communicate with you. Oh, cool. All right. Oh, wow. They're being very clear with you. This is interesting. And I'm going to read it out because it's going to be easier to do it that way. And I can see why you're struggling a little bit with what they're trying to tell you. So if I read it out, you might gain a little bit more clarity. Okay. So the first card that we've got for you is the Say What You Mean. And it says, take some time to clarify what you need, what you require to communicate, and to whom. Honest communication begins with you. Take a moment to connect within and ask yourself, in what area of your life are you hiding and denying how you feel? Does your relationship with your partner require revamping? Are there things that are not working? Who are the people in your life that you must be honest with? This is your opportunity to take back your power and share clearly, wisely, and honestly what does and does not work for you. When people feel vulnerable, you can be easily swayed to say what you feel and the other person wants to hear in order to keep the peace. The message of this card is that you require to say what you really mean, whether someone else likes it or not. It's one of the things that as women we can be a bit shocking about is we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to piss someone off, especially if you come from that people-pleasing background. It's like you kind of go, oh, but if I really say what's in my mind and my heart, what's not working here or whatever, that's going to piss them off and then they're going to leave, or it's going to cause such a big hassle or whatever, blah, 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 we don't say it. And then it builds anger and then resentment and sadness and then depression. And it's not good. It's not good. So it's time to be honest. And especially with your partner is what I'm feeling more so with this one. Of just, it's okay to say what you think. And you'll find this next period of time and cool, and also for work, interesting. So yeah, just be aware of where you're holding back saying your truth. Okay. This next one is definitely for your work stuff. Okay. Don't you finish up there soon? 26, which is letting go. So I'm like, the situation has served its purpose. You are being challenged to change your viewpoint and recognize that this particular relationship has run its course. Although you might be afraid to let go, the universe has a new opportunity for you, which will allow you to experience the kind of passion and satisfaction you have always dreamed of. Saying goodbye is never easy and can make you feel like you are a failure. You must not allow yourself to be persuaded by other people or your own doubts to keep holding on. Focus on opening your heart to a new opportunity. Leave the baggage of the past mistakes behind you. It is important that during the letting go process, you are gentle with yourself. Allow yourself some time alone. Write, meditate, paint, sing, dance. Do whatever you can to heal and let go of the pain that is holding you back. Recognize that your spirit is beckoning you to grow. That's all right. The messages are keeping on coming. All right. This next one's a bit fun. All right. So this is a general. This is in general. This is not a specific thing towards, because I was like, is this work? Is this relationship? And it's kind of like, or general. It's like, yes. Okay. And it is, how teachable are you? Are you open to learning new things in life? How high is your desire to let go of judgment, doubt, negativity, and self-sabotage? What are some of your favorite things to do? Is it to watch TV, to go shopping, play golf, drink, gossip with your friends? Are you willing to give those things up in order to create time to learn something new? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? What is your willingness to really apply what you learn? You might be learning many new things, but are resistant to change. Every time you think, I already know this, I've heard it all before, this doesn't apply to me, your ability to learn diminishes enormously, and it is at this point you become virtually unteachable without realizing it. Unless you apply what you have learned into your life, you won't really know it. This card is beckoning you to not only be open-minded, but to take specific action towards change. So this one here comes from that place of stubbornness, of also I'm hearing hyper independence is another aspect of this. So as you're moving into this new adventure of yours, and I know that you guys obviously work really well together, otherwise you wouldn't choose it, right? But going away for a weekend or a week or something like that is very different to many months on the road. And with that is going to come plenty of challenges for you both. And one of them is that you're going to have to learn how to soften a little bit. And he's also going to have to learn how to be a little bit more gentle with you. So with that, and I get that first one of the say what you mean card is around also being open and vulnerable and allowing your voice to be heard. And in doing so, what you're doing is teaching yourself how to be more balanced between your masculine and feminine energies. So you'll be breaking that hyper independence. And along with that, you'll be teaching him how to be even more amazing and delicious with you. So, which then keeps the message, keeps that beautiful flow going between you. So how teachable are you? Are you willing to change, to give up the stuff? I think you are. And it's that practicalities of it too. The next card is a little bit of a warn. The next two cards are warnings. And this is why I'm like going, okie dokie. I can see why you might be getting a little confused and struggling with some of the messages. Okay. And it also, this, I'm hearing that hyper independence stuff again. Okay. And remember that hyper independence is a trauma response. Okay. So a trauma response to feeling neglected in some one or more of the core areas of your youth. So whether that be mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, if you were neglected in any of those areas, one or more of those areas, that can trigger hyper independence. Okay. And then that hyper independence is then reinforced in our adult life when we hook up with somebody who is, say, gaslighting or narcissistic or has huge health issues, or you end up becoming a solo mum. Like, that's a massive trigger for hyper independence. So as you're moving away from that, there's still going to be a little bit of a push and a pull with wanting to still have that strength, like what you attribute to being his strength. And it's because it's your familiar space. You've said, yes, we both have hard things to get over, and I'm in the process of understanding myself here, struggling a little with that, which I understand. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that us women generally do lead the way on spiritual growth of new things. We are generally, here's the wacky and weird thing about it. We are generally the best, the first product testers of anything, and yet the results are all aimed towards men. I wonder why that is. Oy, oy, oy. We'll ignore the women specific stuff. All right, so the card that's come up for you is like a little bit of a warning, a heads up as such, is self-sabotage. Become conscious of how your inner saboteur functions. You're about to sabotage a big opportunity. Now is the time to stop procrastinating and cease focusing your energy on why you are unworthy of wonderful, enriching experiences. When you connect to the saboteur archetype, you begin to recognize all the ways you pass up interesting opportunities and relationships which could make you grow, learn, evolve, and become fulfilled. The saboteur is terrified of change and guards your heart from that which is meaningful to you, with the misguided belief that if you don't try, you can't fail. It forgets that if you don't escape from your comfort zone, you cannot succeed and experience the love and joy which would fulfill you. On the lighter side, the saboteur can help you to connect to your intuition and help you to guide to your deeper wisdom. It can assist you in deciphering a potentially dangerous situation from an exciting one. Okay, so this is just like a little bit of a heads up of, don't get so stubborn and stuck in your previous ways. And also I'm hearing, don't let him get stuck in his either. Don't play into that game. Because if you're being stubborn and you're sitting in your self-sabotage, you're also going to continue to oh God, the word has just disappeared out of my head. I keep getting inebriate. It's not the word that I want. Oh, you're going to encourage him. I can't get the word out. It's disappearing on my tongue. I like that they'd love to put in the inebriate instead. That's so funny. So basically, yes. Please be aware of where you might be self-sabotaging with old points of views, old belief systems, where you're being a bit stubborn, okay, and not allowing each of you the space to follow your hearts as well, okay? Not everything's going to be smooth. And I felt this pop up for me probably about 3 months ago, where I had that gut-wrenching energy that I'm so familiar with, that had the run, get out of there, run. And what it was is that I was being challenged to look at a situation from a really different point of view, and I was struggling with that. And because it is just so different to anything else I've ever experienced before. And so I'm like, there was that internal part of me that was like, rah, we know what to do with this. We just got to run. We've got to get out of here. And then finally, thanks to a couple of very helpful conversations, I was able to see beyond what my self-saboteur was doing. Thank fuck. So yes, be aware of it. Okay, because it will be loud. It'll rip you if you're not careful. Okay. So you said, yeah, 4 years old for me. I've been there for many years, but yes, still triggers. I've grown. He is not harmful in any way to me. He's just having a hard time understanding why he reacts his ways. Yeah. Cool. A little bit more understanding. Great. What is that word? It's going to really bother me now. Come on, Hive. What's the word I'm thinking of? You know, where the person who encourages the same behaviors in the other person. It'll come. It's a lovely, nice long word too. See, I've got the word entices, which is not the right word either. Encourages, no, that's not the right word. What is the word I'm looking for? Enables. Thank you, whoever sent me that word. Don't be an enabler of your partner's self-sabotage. Come back to, yes, see, thank you, Catherine. I got it. I appreciate you so much. Psychically, you went, pop, popped it in my head. I'm so grateful. So what I'm saying, Amanda, is that when you're sitting in your self-sabotage and he's sitting in his self-sabotage, you can end up enabling that to be even greater, right, for him. Or you can come back to yourself and go and lead the way on how to work with the self-sabotager, but also to help move away from that. And in doing so, it's like you'll be able to show him a lovely new way of moving forward. Bearing in mind, of course, often, not always, but often, they take their sweet ass time to do it. And that can be really tough. There's a beautiful book that I read a while ago, a couple of years ago now, The Owner's and Operator's Guide to Men. And it's a book that really helped me to see how women can help men along and help our relationships along. It runs alongside of a book called the Mama Gina's School of Womanly Arts. Those two books are a really good pair to read, and that will just, if you're interested in reading those books. I don't know if she has them both on Audible. I haven't checked that out. Probably because I've studied both of them. But yeah, The Owner's and Operator's Guide to Men, which is by Mama Gina. The last card that we have it's like their one job of taking the rubbish out last minute before the truck rocks up. That doesn't happen in our house because the truck rocks up about any time between 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning. And we're only just dragging ourselves out of bed. So no, we definitely put out the rubbish the night before. And if it doesn't go out, then it doesn't go out. But generally we put it out the night before, and that's why we set reminders on our phones so that we make sure we do that. See, it's one of the beautiful things about living with someone who does have who's a bit neurospicy and understands that aspect of themselves, that they have to put reminders in their calendar. And because we share a calendar, so I get those reminders too, and it's great. That's great. Not all reminders, thank God. Right, we got pride is the last card. So you may be acting out of arrogance and vanity. Humility is the key. When you are prideful, you can become harsh and not conscious of your weaknesses. This can temporarily make you feel more powerful and superior to others, whilst at the same time cause you to be judgmental, unteachable. So that unteachable thing is coming up again, and hardened. Have you been fighting, quarreling, and disagreeing with others? Are you always trying to prove a point and defend your position? Do you think that you are always right? By holding on to shadow pride, you are stopping yourself from progressing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Stop overestimating your importance and learn to be humble. When you are too proud, you cannot hear other people's advice and cannot receive their assistance. Empowerment means that you can be soft, caring, aware, and gentle. Recognize that you require other people's support to achieve true success. So, I can give you an example of this in a real sort of practical sense of putting up a tent. So I had a partner, this is a few years ago now, and we decided that we'd go camping together and we would use my tent that I had been gifted. And so I had loads of experience going camping and back in my young days. And he felt that he knew more than me. And I was just like happy just to tootle along and just, just do what is needed. And, I was just happy to be there. And because he was sitting in his pride so much, everything became a competition. Putting up the tent became a competition, and setting up the campsite, knowing where to go, all the things just became a massive competition. And it was like I couldn't say anything, because if I said anything, he was going to suggest anything. He stomped on it really fast and was like, I didn't know what I was saying. And I was just being open and offering suggestions. I didn't know, and I was quite happy to say, look, I'm not familiar with this area, and I'm quite happy to admit that. And so as a result, everything was just tense, like tenterhooks on everything. And it was just not pleasant, to be honest. Fast forward to this year, and I go camping with one of my friends from work. And we get along like a house on fire. We respect each other. We have great communication with each other. We have just so much fun. We were putting up the tent. Both times we put up the tent, it's been very super windy, very, very challenging conditions. And both times we've approached it from that open space of just, hey, let's see how we go. And let's just enjoy the space, enjoy the time. And it's okay. Anything we do is fine. And every time we've gone, we've learned some new things, and it's been interesting and challenging. But at the same time, at no point at all have we had competition with each other. And because neither of us are sitting in our pride. And it becomes a very, very pleasant experience. And I compare it to what it was with that previous partner. And I go, it's like night and day. And I am not sure if it's because I've changed or just the company is different. But whatever it is, I'm happy. Has. So sometimes our partners are the reflection of what we are holding back. And they are there to inch that stuff out of us. So, that's a hard one. Spent many years not recognizing my pride, and truthfully now I am a little more feeling proud of myself. Feeling proud and being prideful is two different things. Guess this is something I need to find balance in. You can be proud, but not prideful. Prideful is a different energy. It is that competitive space. It's being really super stubborn and not listening to anybody else. You can be super proud of what you do. You can be super proud of your kids or your achievements or whatever it is. You can be proud of your choices and your brave choices of what you're choosing to do moving forward, especially with the big trips and stuff like that. That's cool. But when you're prideful, it would be everybody should do it. And why aren't you doing it? And why aren't you doing it like me? It is my way or the highway. That kind of energy. Yeah. There's a big difference. Massive difference between the two. So yeah, it's when that stubbornness, the judgmental, the that comes in, that's being prideful. So there we go. I can see why you're sort of getting a little bit of conflicting messages coming through. That's like, it's because it's like cool, but also, hey, what's going on here? So I hope that helps. Let me just get your yummy card out for you. See what your other last little message is. Oh, wow, that one shifted some energy. Holy moly. Purification is the word that you got. So purification of your energy spaces, quite clearly. This time you're letting a lot of stuff go, and it might get a little bit rough, and it's okay. It's all right. Keep in mind the bigger picture. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture for you is like this amazing experience that you guys are working towards, traveling around and having a fantastic time and feeling the different energies out there and all that sort of stuff. Like it's so funny because I can feel like to a much, much, much lesser degree that irritation, anxiousness that's coming up, and of the anxiousness of, oh God, this is such a big thing that I'm doing. And it's like, but the payoff is absolutely going to be worth it. You're going to have a great time. This is like a legendary thing to do. And it's something that you're going to have in the memory banks for many, many, many years to come. So that's fantastic. So purification, let go of the shit that's no longer serving you. And I get it. I get it. It's very exciting though. So try not to focus too much on the irritation and the anxiousness, and keep focusing on the happiness, the excitedness, the adventure of it all, the anticipation. Try to keep your mind that way rather than the funky shit, the letting go stuff, and all the emotions that goes along with that. Like, still honor them. Be like, one of the things that I did when I was leaving New Zealand, because I had to basically let almost everything go, was I had those moments. It's kind of, I guess, what we would think of now as a Marie Kondo thing of, like, I would take a thing, like a book or whatever it was that I was struggling to let go of, and I'd be like, thank you so much for being in my life. and I would just take a moment with the thing. And sometimes it was a piece of clothing. At one point it was my car, and I spent those moments with that thing, and I just was like surrounding it with gratitude for what it had contributed to my life. And it made it so much easier to let it go, because it was now coming from that space of gratitude rather than, the anxiety or the irritation or the that thing of going, oh, if I let it go, will I ever get it back? It's like holding on to all the memories that thing is attached to. So it's like, yeah, you don't have to have it to remember it. Photos are good too. You said, so right, the end point is exciting. The shit for fuck, gotta go do it, but it's going to be worth it. Yes, indeed, it will be absolutely worth it. It is exciting, and I wish I could come with you, but maybe not, because then I'd be a third wheel, and then that wouldn't be fun, and then you'd be... Never mind. I'll just do my trip to New Zealand instead. Alrighty, my dear. So thank you. Thank you for your very kind donation to Find You Fridays. And I appreciate you so, so much. It must be so exciting and thrilling to be going through all of this right now. Your timing is absolutely perfect. You've got the exact amount of support from all these retrogrades and everything that's happening right now. And how brilliant for you. So thank you for allowing us a little peek into your life and what's going on for you. I appreciate you very much. All right. Yes, awkward. Didn't think about that until the last minute. I'm like, maybe not. I love how you picked up on my thoughts as I was like not saying what I was thinking. All right. Beautiful. So we're going by this. I can see Christine's got a couple of questions. So yay. Let me jump back up to... And hi, Tony. I'm great. I've had a really lovely day. I've caught up with people. I have had a lovely, lovely lunch, and I even had time for a little nap this afternoon. So how good was that? Righty-ho. So there it is. All right. She says, her first question is, I had a reading. It says I need to not overindulge. Oh, I gotta love that. Do you do health palliative care questions, hon? Interesting question. I don't know. Depends on what the question is. I don't know what it means, which area is overeating and sweets. Oh, Christine's got 3 questions. Or is it pertaining to work, taking too much on, or both? Did they not give you more clarity? That seems interesting. All right. Okie dokie. So let me check out the pendulum. It's very nice and strong for a yes. Let me show the new players. Cure. All right. So truth. Is Christine overindulging in eating and sweets? That has come back as a strong yes. So truth, is she overindulging in eating in general? That came out sort of. Truth, is Christine overeating sweets? Yes. Truth, should Christine have sweets once a day? No. Truth, should Christine have sweets once a week? That's still a very strong no. Truth, should Christine have sweets more than once a week? Let's go that way first. Nope. Truth, should Christine have sweets less than once a week? Yes. Truth, should Christine have sweets less than once a month? Truth, should Christine have sweets? I'll change my question. Truth, could Christine have sweets once a fortnight? Truth, could Christine have sweets? No, should Christine have sweets once a fortnight? Truth, should Christine have sweets once every 3 weeks? Truth, should Christine have sweets once a month? Okay. Whew, that was a lot of questions. So, for the lollies thing, the sweets, the pendulum is saying that you could have sweets once every 3 to 4 weeks. At current moment, the sweets once a day or like as often as you are is too much. Your body is not enjoying the amount of sugar intake that you're getting right now. Okay, so it's time to drop it down. So, truth, is Christine overindulging in her work practices? That's a no. So this was totally food related. Okay. All right. So next question. I have to get another car. Currently, I had to put another motor with $75,000 warranty. 75,000 warranty, unlimited miles in 3 years. My Volvo didn't know guides what brand, Buick, another Volvo, Lexus pre-owned. Had to put it. Okay. Okay, Christine, I'm trying to comprehend this question a little bit better. $75,000 miles on the motor. Yep. Like hang on. Let me double check something to just, because we work in kilometers here. So I'm like, I mean, if you need a new car, you need a new car regardless. Okay. But I'm just for my own curiosity. Okay, so that is like 120. 120 is not that much on the clock. My personal car has got around that. My work car is similar. Yes, they're both older cars. Like they're both. Let me think. My work car is about 20 years old, and my personal car is. My work car's got a lot more than that actually on it. My personal car's got about 120,000. So, and my work car's, what are we, 2008. But the first owner also was very limited numbers on it. So they're of a similar age because my work car is 2004. So yeah, my personal car is 4 years younger than my work car. My work car's done a lot more kilometers than my personal car. So let me see, guys, what brand should I get next? I'm not rushing to buy a car since the motor cost $7,000. Currently have 240 miles on my Volvo that went through now with this motor, 3 motors. 240,000 miles currently on my Volvo. Yeah. It's amazing how long cars can last for. And 3 motors though. Wow. That's incredible. Either the motors you're getting are reconditioned motors or you got some crazy driving going on over there. So let's see. So Truth, what's going to create more for Christine? Truth, will a Buick create more for Christine as her next car? Truth, will a Volvo create more for her next car? So we got a yes on the Buick. We get a no on the Volvo. Truth, will Alexis create more for Christine as her next car? That's a no for the Lexus. Truth, is there another brand she hasn't considered that will create more for her next, more for Christine for her next car? Yep. Okay, so a Buick had a yes, Volvo and Lexus both had no's, and there's also something else out there that you haven't considered yet that will also create more for you. All right. So one of the things, and I mean, looking at the brands that you're asking about, Toyota's obviously not on your radar, but one of the reasons why I chose a Toyota as my car is because the parts for it are reasonably easy for us to access. And it just depends on what your priorities are, right? So the reasons why I chose a Toyota is they are very hard wearing cars or vehicles. Their parts are easy to source. They're not too expensive because they're easy to source. And the company itself is very stable. You know, Toyota's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. But it was more of a longevity thing and a cost thing. So my car, as she sits at the moment, she's going to be able to keep going for another 10 years, no problems, because of what she is. And yeah, there's a little bit of wear and tear happening now, but it's nothing too major at this point in time. And like I said, she's sitting in those, I guess, higher numbers, 120,000 or so. I can't remember exactly where she is actually. It might be a bit more than that now. Sorry, just distracted for a second. The age. Oh, I wish I'd seen that yesterday. Oh no, it's Friday today. Today is Friday. Okay. So it does say if you head outside on Friday night and if the weather is kind, there's a chance you'll be treated to the vibrant aurora in the night sky. So this is for us in the southern hemisphere. Let me just see if I can find out some times. And of course, some of those photos that we've seen, it's like you said, it looks like ribbons of dancing light, reds and greens. Low light pollution, which we know about, although I'm still seeing people getting them like in the burbs, which is nice. So every 11 years, roughly, the sun's magnetic field flips. If you were on the surface and holding a compass, you would see north and south instantly switch places. That event is preceded by a dramatic increase in solar activity known as the solar maximum. As the sun moves towards solar maximum and grows more energetic, its magnetic fields become more strained. Some twist and snag on each other. Eventually, as the sun's power grows, these field lines can break and reconnect. And when they do, they release a huge energy charge and charged particles from the sun's surface, which fly towards the Earth. The Earth is protected by a relatively stable magnetic field. It shields us and our atmosphere from the sun's stream of charged particles. Without it, we would have no atmosphere and life could not exist. On Friday night, the field will again do its job and deflect nearly all the charged particles from the sun, but a few will sneak through. And when they do, they will strike and excite the electrons in the atoms of oxygen and nitrogen in the atmosphere. As those atoms release that energy, they will grow red and glow red and green, giving us this spectacular night show of the aurora. So if the sky is clear, the aurora should be there, even if you can't see it with the naked eye. Put your camera or phone on long exposure settings and hold it steady, and the telltale glow will show up. So this morning there was some beautiful displays happening all around, including down in Victoria. So not quite what I was looking for, but there we go. I think there is a sign with Toyota. The light flickered on my lamp beside me when you said Toyota. I think my guides are confirming with you that the Toyota since the light lamp flickered beside me when you said Toyota brand. Interesting. Oh yeah, well there you go. Toyota. That's awesome. I love my Toyota. Yeah, I'm sure yes, here we go. I've done even more in my car, 215,000 Ks. And it's still very, very, very good. So to put that into miles for you, so 215,000 kilometers is, oh gosh, it's 133,500 miles. All right, so basically double. Yeah, 75,000. And she's still good. She's still a really, really good car to drive. And my mechanic said, look, it's going to keep going for at least another 100,000, if not 200,000, no problems. So there we go. So start having a look at Toyotas. Toyotas have got good shapes, and they can be quite. I mean, I have my preferences, of course. So have a look, and I got mine secondhand. But it had really, really super duper low kilometers. I think I got mine when it was about 75,000 kilometers, which is low kilometers. And so just to let you know how much that is. It was like 7,500 kilometers on the clock, which is only 4,600 miles. All right, so that's where I got mine. Was it 7,000? Yeah. Even if I add another zero on that one, maybe it was 75,000. Yeah, 75,000 does feel a little bit more accurate than 7,000. 75, which is only 46,000 miles. So look for something, if you're getting secondhand around that that mark of around 46,000 miles, and it'll, as long as it's been looked after and gone for its services and all that sort of stuff, you should be fine. Okay. All right. So Hurricane Milton. So yes, start doing your research, see what you like, find out what sort of things are important to you. For me, with my car, it was things like it had to have 4 doors, be a hatchback, so that made it 5 doors. There was no way in hell I was having a 2-door car. It had to have decent boot space, or I guess what do you guys call that? I think you guys call it a trunk. And I didn't mind it if it was manual or automatic because I can drive both. Just happens to be that it's a manual. And it had to be fun to drive. That was those were my main criteria, is that it had to be fun to drive because it was going to be my drive car for a long time. I wasn't looking at trading it in any time soon. So Toyotas are great. They last forever. I hate the sky. Okay, Hurricane Milton. So Truth, did Archangel Michael help Christine with Hurricane Milton? Okay, Truth, did Archangel Ariel help Christine with Hurricane Milton? Truth, did Archangel Sandalphon help Christine with Hurricane Milton? Okay, cool. So Michael, no, but Ariel and Sandalphon did, from what the pendulum is telling me. Okay. So hurricanes. So hang on 2 seconds while I just ask the pendulum. So Truth, are the hurricanes shifting the consciousness of the area where Hurricane Milton hit? Yep. So start looking at the hurricanes as something that is a good thing for the society. It's horrible, no denying that. But your area obviously needed some deep renovation. Hurricanes are a huge amount of energy. And basically this is Mother Earth's way of shifting a fuck ton of energy really, really quickly. So your area, obviously, with it being 3 times in a year, has required it. And so as things rebuild and, with all the community efforts and things like that are coming through, things are going to get a lot better moving forward. Once enough energy has been moved, that old stagnant energy has been moved, you won't be getting hit with them quite so much. Okay. So yes, Hurricane is like an act of God. The one before was a Cat 4. This one is a Cat 3. Yeah. So I am sorry that you're having to live through that. It's freaking scary. I'm really glad we don't get hurricanes here in South Australia that I know of. But I can imagine it is bloody scary, and you just don't know if your buildings are going to be able to stand through it, especially those big ones. And it's not fun for you guys. So just keep practicing your tools and just try to reframe it in your mind of going, it would be really amazing if we didn't have to go through this huge shift in energies, but it is absolutely required. So thank you. Thank you for this shift in energies, and please do it with as little damage as possible. I am so grateful for all the help of the angels and my guides and my team and all of that sort of stuff. Just keep using your tools and you'll be okay. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony. And I'm sure that all the archangels are doing whatever is required in their bits and pieces. So yeah, oh, here we go. More energy moving around. I love it. Okay, let me just double check everything. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Alrighty, Christine, thank you so much for your very kind donations, all of them. And I am so grateful for you, and I hope that our little conversations here tonight have helped you. I'm sure that whatever car you choose next, you will love and cherish and have so much fun with. So I think when we did the reading, like that questioning about the cars previously, it was like, you don't have to worry about it for this year. Like, it's okay. No stress. But of course, things change. So just have a look out there for a new car if you're getting the sense that it's time. And ask the car to come find you too. Like when you're looking, ask for the car to shine so brightly that you can't possibly miss it. Okay, energetically shine. And yeah, I'm not asking for your new car to wind up your butt in a car crash, because that's not what we're asking for. Just saying. But when it comes to Toyotas, I can guarantee you, like, not Toyotas, like we have, I don't know if you guys have them over there, things like Suzuki Swifts are not good. I wouldn't choose them. I wouldn't choose a Toyota Yaris. That is the one car I would not choose. And when you get in there to drive it, you'll understand why, because a Toyota Yaris and a Suzuki Swift are very similar in that they are very weirdly top heavy and they feel odd on the road. And if you're in a place that gets lots of wind, you won't want to be driving either of those two cars, okay? Because they're just way too weirdly light on the roads. So just as a little top tip. But yeah, have fun. Take them all for a test drive. Highly recommend. And if you're buying a used car, make sure you get it checked over thoroughly by a mechanic before you go and buy it. Even if it's from a car yard, like a used car yard, make sure it gets checked over by an independent mechanic. I have way too many men in my life that would be like kicking my butt if I didn't. Alrighty, Miss Tony, thank you for your donation. I see you've popped one through. So could you pop your question in the chat, please, so that I can have a look at that one for you? Oh, excuse me. I really want to go outside and have a look and see if the auroras are up. Don't want to know about you. Who would like to come and talk to Tony? What do you reckon? We all just take a 5-minute break and head outside and have a look? Just kidding. But I will be going out there and having a look after the show's done, see if I can see anything. Okay, a question has just popped into my mind, so I'm going to use the pendulum and ask the question. So, truth. Does Tony and the facility manager have a past life together? Truth, is it Tony's turn? Okay. So the next question I have is, truth, will Ho'oponopono assist with this? Yeah. Okay. First things first, Tony. My awareness and the pendulum both say that this particular relationship between you and the facility manager is not of this lifetime. That's why it sort of feels so weird and wonky to you, and that you don't get along well. And the reason for that is, from what I can see, is that you have had this past life with each other, and there was something that happened between you where they now feel that they have to get revenge on. It's not quite the right word, but it's like last time was you did something bad to them and now they have to do something bad to you. That's in the rawness of it. So I hope that you know the difference. Like, I'm not trying to say that they're going to do something really physically bad to you, but it's like energetically there's that element of, I don't know why I'm pissed off at you, but I am. All right. And because of that, that's why things are not ease for you both. So this is a relationship that is coming up now because it's about karmic rebalancing. Okay. So it's not about you having to necessarily repay the debt of your actions from your previous lifetime. But it is about forgiveness. Okay. So from your end, for this lifetime, the Ho'oponopono technique of, for everything that is within me that has activated that within you, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And that is something that I asked, will the Ho'oponopono help? And it said yes. So that phrasing is you taking responsibility for the actions in the past lifetime. And also what you're doing is then creating a space of forgiveness and love, unconditional love, between you two now. So that's why Ho'oponopono is so powerful. And sure, you might have to say it many, many times over. So it is whatever it is in me that has activated that in you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you just keep repeating that. You can even just repeat, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, or I forgive you, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. A brilliant book that goes into that, which helps explain it really well, is Zero Limits by Joe Vitale. And he explains nicely some of the history of that too. Sorry, there's another email that popped through that I'm like, that's interesting, but not quite the same. This is from the Amber Miliha Wolf, who did the Women of Lemuria, if I remember rightly. Anyway, that was funny. So yes, you can even just repeat I love you over and over and over again. And that I love you in and of itself, if you're directing that towards somebody that you are having crunchy moments with, will start to shift that energy anyway. But I fully recommend doing the entire process. You can do it just before you go to sleep. You can do it when you wake up. You can do it towards that. You can do it, any old time. But that, anytime she pops into your mind and you feel irritation, it's showing you where there's still energy there that is not healed yet. And part of the reason why it does feel so wonky is because it's come from another lifetime. That's why you can't find a reason for her being pissed off with you now. If you're really honest, and if she was really honest, neither of you will be able to identify specifically anything that either of you have done in this lifetime that has activated this. It's just the fact that you're both alive now. That's it. And it's okay, because the brilliant thing is that you have the tools and the power and the potency to be able to help heal it and rebalance. And then one day she'll just wake up and go, like, you won't even be in her mind to have irritations with. And it'll be just like, oh, hi, Tony. And there'll be just nothing. It'll be peaceful because you will have shifted that energy, right? Because if the other person doesn't have anything to bounce off, if you're peaceful, you become space and it'll just go straight through and it won't matter anymore. Okay? So you take the high road and you both end up in Tipperary. So yes, let us have a bit more questions with the cards. So what I'm going to do is just ask, what else do you require to know? Just sort of like a general reading. All right. Sure. I'm wondering, I'm really in palliative care because I don't feel it. Oh, if I'm really in palliative care because I don't feel it. Interesting. Interesting. Considering what cards have come out, this is very curious. Okay. So the first card that's come out is Love Your Body. Okay. No matter what is happening with your body right now, and everything, all the aches, the pains, the everything, just love it anyway. It's not letting you down. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do at this point in time. So when it comes to your body, ho'oponopono yourself. Okay. And that's where the I love you comes in. And as the card says, love your body. So take that moment every day. And I think that I've told you about this process that I do. I'd say about 98% of the time is I go through, when I wake up in the morning, I actually allow myself time in the morning. And I go through each part of my body and I say, good morning, beautiful toes. And if I'm feeling a little bit more down or a little bit more like tired or stuff like that, I'll say, good morning, beautiful toes. I love you. Good morning, beautiful feet. I love you. Good morning, beautiful ankles. I love you. Good morning, beautiful calves. I love you. Good morning, beautiful shins. I love you. Good morning, beautiful knees. I love you. And I just keep moving up my body. And by the time I get to my face, generally I'm smiling a lot. And so I wake up a lot more like those people who like bounce up out of bed, you know, the sleepy posturepedic, feeling sleepy. Sorry, it's Sealy posturepedic. But it's about loving your body, right? No matter what it's going through. And sometimes we're too tired in the evening to do that, but maybe that's something that you could bring in the evening time too, as part of that slow down process. When you hop into bed and you're just lying there and you're waiting for the bed to warm up or whatever it is, and you're just sort of getting yourself comfy for the night time, like just go through the body. Maybe start from the top of the head and work your way down and say, thank you, beautiful head, for I love you. You know, thank you, beautiful eyes. I love you. Thank you, beautiful nose. I love you. Thank you, beautiful cheeks. I love you. And just love on this beautiful vessel that you've got. And the more love, unconditional love that you can bring into your system, no matter whether you're in palliative care or not in palliative or whatever it is, your body's going to have a hell of a lot easier time of it. Okay. So the next card that we've got, because like I said, I asked for a general reading of what else is it that your team requires you to know. And it's the next card that came out was Recognize Divine Timing. So there's a reason why you are in the palliative side at the moment. There's a reason. And there's a reason why you're here watching this show right now. There's a reason why the center, the facility manager and you have been having this interaction. Everything is for a reason. And sometimes we can't see those reasons until after we're done with that. And that's the hardest part. But it's about trusting in the process. And with this particular case, I get the sense that that good old adage of why me comes to mind. And it's like, it's okay. The next card fits in with the other one, which is Relinquish Control. Okay. So all those things that are coming up for you where you feel like you have maybe lost control. What if you haven't? What if what you're being asked to do is to surrender right now? Surrender to the process. Trust in the process. I'm not asking you to give up. Not at all. What I'm asking you to do, or what your team is asking you to do, is to love your body. Okay? I'm going to read what the book says about relinquishing control. Okay. So it says, instead of empowering you, control can turn you into an aggressive presence when the person you are trying to influence does not adhere to your wishes. Whenever you find yourself trying to control others, become conscious of what is really driving this compulsion. Do you feel afraid, unsafe, or vulnerable? I prefer the word susceptible rather than vulnerable, because vulnerability is actually a really beautiful thing to be. Anyway, what if you could experience those feelings without trying to dominate your environment? What are you holding on to? When you let go and begin to trust life, you open the door to a multitude of opportunities that you could not have fathomed. You also allow your loved ones to breathe out and be themselves instead of feeling like they constantly have to appease you. It's okay if you make mistakes. Perfectionism hardens you and disconnects you from your heart. Control can also negatively impact your brain, skin, and digestive system and reproductive system. Okay. So I get that a lot of us have these moments of control. It's also around our hyper independence and stuff like that gets kicked into gear when we're not well, either psychologically or physically. That's also when control can kick in. It's fascinating to me, as you know, with my role as a cleaner, that there'll be so much chaos in a house, and then you'll find that the client will hyperfixate on one little area. It's like there's mess everywhere, and they'll go, but you missed that bit of dirt in that corner last time. And it's like, hang on a minute. But and it's like, it's okay. When you approach that from, see, there's two ways of handling that. You can either slip into that space of judgment of going, yeah, but have you looked at the rest of your fucking house? Or you can go, oh gosh, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I'll just get that for you this time, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Thank you for telling me. I love you. Have a good day. See? Ho'oponopono. You work that in there. It brings out that space of compassion. Now, the fact that it's irritated that person for a week is like, okay, I'm sorry about that. And it's funny because for a long time I tried to break the habit of saying sorry for everything that wasn't my fault. And what I've come to realize is part of it's like what I call it Canadianism. I'm sorry for everything. But what I've come to realize is I'm an energetic healer. And part of my gift is changing the energy of a room or with a person. And part of that is using Ho'oponopono. I just didn't know that I was using Ho'oponopono. when I was saying sorry to people, or giving them a hug, or telling them from my heart how grateful I am for them, or just sending them love or whatever. That was Ho'oponopono. I was giving them the gift without knowing what I was doing. So saying sorry is not a bad thing. It's when you are saying sorry as a method of trying to stay out of trouble and using it as a trauma response, that's when it's not great. And once again, we have listened to your guardian angel, right? So this is what I'm seeing for you, is like you're just surrounded by your angels, your invisi team, or your spirit team, like I like to call them, my spirit team. They are surrounding you. They're giving you a lot of comfort right now. And it's a beautiful thing. They're nice and close. They're cuddling you. They're giving you comfort in those moments in the middle of the night when you're feeling very alone. Reach out to them. They're there for you. And they just allow your heart to come out, but also ask them for solutions. There's a lot of energy around right now that is targeted towards creative ideas and solutions rather than focusing on problems. Okay. All right, let me find your yummy card. Interesting. You also got purification. I honestly did shuffle the cards. So purification is obviously up in the energies at the moment for a few of you, for at least 2 of you anyway. So purification, and I'm hearing that that's why that tool of saying I love you to your body, that's part of your purification process. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your team is fully around you. They're very close to you right now. They're not standing back. They're very, very close. If it gets too intense with them, though, you can ask them to give you some breathing room. Perhaps that's probably a little bit more pertinent than I just realized. Yeah. You can ask them to give you a little bit of breathing room. It's like, I'm not ready to go yet. Thank you, my friends. So yeah, just let them know that you're happy still at the moment. Like if you're not ready to go, then you're not ready to go. If you're still being creative and still doing all the things, like that's okay. That's okay. And it's a beautiful thing. Perhaps this time is about rest. But yes, it's interesting, an interesting moment. So purification, keep working through loving your body and seeing what else comes up. So something that I would suggest, a little bit of home play for you, is on the top of a piece of paper tomorrow morning after you've had your sleep and all, write the word purification and then go into your intuitive writing space and just start writing, drawing, scribbling, whatever. I find for me working with a pencil to be really different for intuitive writing than working with a pen. I find a pen just feels, I don't know if it's because pen is generally plastic or metal, whereas a pencil is often wood. But there's something about the energy difference between pens and pencils. So I find intuitive writing to be a lot easier done for me with pencil than pen, or felt tips or texters or anything like that. Putting it in all the languages. But yeah, then just start intuitive writing and see what comes up, and do it for like a period of like about 10 minutes, I'm being told. And if you have to use a pen, then use a pen. But it's an interesting experiment to do intuitive writing both with a pen or a pencil and see how it changes. But there's some information that is asking to come through from your higher self, and it's linked to that word. So write it at the top and then just let it all come out. And it may come out as little doodles, like as in little images. It might come out as words. It might come out as scribbles. It might come out as light language. It might come out as all sorts of things. And just don't think about what you're putting on the page. Just do it. Just write and just let it flow. I find it to be quite a peaceful process. And solutions often flow through, or at the very least, it's very cathartic. So that's what's popping through to tell you. Alrighty, my loved ones, my beautiful beings. All right, we'll turn that off, come back here, and we say thank you, Tony, for your very, very kind donation. I am so, so grateful that you take time to be with us in the very early morning for you. So it's after midnight for you, and I'm so, so grateful. You don't have to look at what you're writing. You can. But don't focus too hard on it. Don't think about it till after. So don't sit there and analyze as you're doing it. Okay, it's about just let go. You just let go. And it's like you kind of look at the page, but you don't. It's like you're almost looking through the page as you're doing it. And see, you just let the pen flow. Let the writing just go. So any of you guys can do that. You don't have to be in Tony's situation to do it. Okay. And it's an interesting way of doing meditation, because it's active meditation when you do it. So if you want to, you can put on like some sort of gentle meditation type music, like maybe Reiki type music or something like that, just to help maybe focus or give you something to focus on while you're doing it. You can do it in complete silence. See what works for you. You might find music too distracting from allowing you to connect in with your team and your higher self. As you're doing it, you just ask, like you can ask your higher self, please show me what you wish me to know about purification, and then just start. And you might find your hand moves all over the page. I often find it's better to do it on a blank sheet of paper, or a blank, like something that's not got lines on it, because the lines can restrict the intuitive flow. Okay. So just some little hints and tips there. So yes. I love knowing this stuff. This is part of why I did my my holistic counseling course. Got that diploma All right, a little bit of water. Nabbit. I was going to do one of the processes. Oh, you're welcome, love. You're welcome. Let's see. Okay. Cool. I like it when I can pull a process. So we thank Ina Segal for her wisdom and her magic and her processes. You're welcome, Tony. As we know, when energy starts moving, so does the urine. It just releases. So I totally get it. One of my friends, after a body process or anything, she's always like, I've got to go and evacuate right now. It's very cute. It's very, very cute. All right. So everybody, 2 hours and 52 minutes in. Don't know about you, but I'm tired. So let us take a big, deep breath in. Close your eyes. Slowly letting that breath out. Take another big, deep breath in. Right down to the bottom of your belly. And as you breathe out, just letting everything, all your neck and your shoulders, everything relax. This time as you breathe in, bring Mother Earth energy all the way up through your body. And as you breathe out, bring Father Sky energy all the way down. Bring Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up through your body. Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. Now it's time to expand out, expanding out your awareness. Expanding out beyond your body in a big bubble up into the sky, down into the earth. Expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the country that you're in. Expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the planet, beyond the size of the solar system. Expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the galaxies. And now out beyond the size of the universes. Beautiful. And now as your awareness is nice and expanded out, focus on your body once more without contracting down your awareness. And now grab your sense of allowance. And remembering that your sense of allowance is your ability to be able to perceive, know, be, and receive those energies of everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And instead of being a tight, contracted little pebble at the bottom of a raging river of everybody else's stuff, bashing you around and being in victim consciousness, you can expand out and become like a big old fluffy cloud, just watching that raging river flowing on by and seeing it for exactly what it is. It's just energy. So as we expand out our allowance beyond your body, up into the sky and down into the earth, and the big, big bubble expanding out beyond the size of the country that you're in, beyond the size of the planet, expanding out your allowance out beyond the size of the solar system, out beyond the size of the galaxies, out beyond the size of the universes, and out beyond the size of your awareness. Take a big, deep breath in, and just perceive how the body completely relaxes. You may even feel like you're going to drop off to sleep. Just know that this next process that we're going to do is about assimilating life experience. So this is about allowing you to become calm around the chaos. So as we're continuing to take slow breaths all the way down to the bottom of your belly, and gently breathing out again, gently place your hands on your stomach and become aware of how you feel there. Become aware of your hands as they move up and down as you breathe in and out. And if your hands aren't moving, that means that you're breathing in your chest rather than in your belly. Refocus your breath down to your belly now. Now, as you are doing that and you're becoming aware of your emotions that might be stored in your belly, become aware of any beliefs that are hurting you and that you are holding in your stomach. Take your time to acknowledge them. Ask if anyone in your family or environment had the same beliefs. It's asking yourself. Are you willing to let them go? Are you willing to take responsibility for changing and being different? Now, slowly with your left hand, massage your index finger on your right hand from the base of it to the tip. And visualize the release of all the negativity that is stored from your belly. It's now releasing up and out your index finger. And as we do this, and we're releasing all the negativity, that is stored in our bellies, all those points of views and those belief systems, perhaps from our family. We can say, I let go of all control and worry and guilt. I welcome peace and joy and well-being. And now visualize beautiful yellow sunlight pouring into your stomach, pacifying, clearing, and releasing it. Beautiful yellow sunlight moving all the way through all the cells and molecules of your body, of your belly especially. And see all of those points of views and belief systems, those old outdated ones, just leaving. Beautiful. And if you're watching this on the replay and you need a little more time, you can feel free to pause this now. And now, when you're ready, take a big deep breath in. And place your hands back on your stomach. And as we visualize any other little belief systems, any hurts, any traumas which we have stored in our stomachs, say, whatever it is in me that has activated that in you, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. With that, we're going to take another big, deep breath in. And out. Bringing Mother Earth and that unconditional love all the way up through your body. And as you breathe out, bringing Father Sky energy all the way down. Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up. And Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. And with that, we say thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Alrighty, my friends. So thank you. Hi, Paul. We are at the end of our show now, and I'm so grateful for all of you being here. And the ones who will watch this in the future, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, everybody. Have fun. Get out there, do something tasty for yourself. And in the meantime, you know what I'm going to say. Be bold, be brave, be you, my beautiful friends. and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.